Have you ever wondered where the fuel in your scooter or bus actually comes from? Every morning, millions of people in India and around the world fill up their vehicles with petrol or diesel, start their engines, and set off. At home, you might use LPG for cooking breakfast or switch on a fan powered by electricity. All these things are possible because of oil, a substance with a journey so epic it stretches back hundreds of millions of years. But oil is more than just something we burn to move or cook or power our gadgets. It's hidden in the plastics of your water bottle, the fertilizer that grows your rice, and even the shiny polish on your shoes. Oil's journey from deep within the earth to your daily life is a story full of mystery, science, and surprise. This essay will take you through every step of that journey. We'll start at the bottom of ancient seas, travel through layers of rock, visit drilling rigs and refineries, and finally, arrive in your kitchen, your car, and your classroom. By the end, you'll see oil in a whole new way. So let's dive deep and discover how something so old shapes the world we know today. Imagine the world hundreds of millions of years ago. There were no people, no cities, and no cars. Instead, much of Earth was covered by warm, shallow seas. These oceans were filled with tiny living things, plankton, algae, and simple sea creatures. They floated in the sunlight, using it to grow and multiply. When these ancient organisms died, they didn't simply vanish. Instead, they drifted down to the bottom of the sea. There, their soft bodies mixed with sand and mud. Over time, layers of dead creatures built up, forming thick blankets on the sea floor. These layers grew deeper and heavier as more and more life came and went. Hidden away from oxygen, the remains of these ancient sea creatures couldn't rot in the usual way. Instead, they became trapped under more mud, sand, and silt, creating a huge underwater graveyard. Most people never realize that every drop of oil started as something alive. The journey from a simple plankton to the fuel in your tank begins with this underwater world, lost and forgotten beneath our feet. So, what happens to those buried piles of ancient sea life? This is where the real magic starts. Over millions of years, the Earth changed. Continents shifted, mountains rose, and more mud and sand pressed down on those layers. The weight was enormous, sometimes enough to crush anything beneath it. With all this pressure and the slow heat rising from deep inside the Earth, the remains of those sea creatures began to change. The soft tissues broke down, turning first into a thick, waxy substance called kerogen. But with even more time, heat, and pressure, something special happened. The kerogen slowly turned into liquid oil and natural gas. This process isn't quick. It takes at least 10 million years, sometimes up to 300 million years, for oil to form. The deeper and hotter the layers, the more likely it is that oil, rather than coal or gas, will be created. Finally, the oil started to move. It seeped through cracks in the rock, searching for spaces to collect. When it found a trap, a dome of rock, it stayed there, waiting for humans to discover it. Finding oil isn't as easy as digging a hole in your backyard. Scientists, called geologists, search for clues deep underground. They use special tools like seismic waves, which act like underground X-rays, to see where oil might be hiding. Sometimes a small amount of oil leaks to the surface, hinting that a bigger pool lies below. Once a likely spot is found, drilling begins. Huge machines called drilling rigs are set up, towering high above the ground or floating on the ocean. The drill bit, made of tough steel and diamonds, spins down through sand, rock, and clay. Sometimes it goes as deep as 5,000 meters, almost as high as a Himalayan mountain. When the drill finally reaches the oil trap, the pressure underground can push the oil upwards. Workers use pipes and pumps to control the flow, so the valuable liquid can be safely brought to the surface. Sometimes natural gas bursts out first, followed by thick black oil. It's dangerous and difficult work, but every barrel of oil pulled from the ground starts a new chapter in its journey, from ancient sea life to your fuel tank. Crude oil, straight from the ground, is messy stuff. It's thick, dark, and full of many different chemicals. Before it can power your car or cook your food, it needs to be cleaned and separated. This happens in places called refineries. At a refinery, oil is heated until it boils. The different parts of oil have different boiling points, so as the oil vapor rises in tall towers, it cools and separates into layers. The lightest parts, like gases, rise to the top. Liquids like petrol and diesel settle in the middle. Heavy, sticky substances, used for making tar and asphalt, sink to the bottom. This process is called fractional distillation. But that's not all. Scientists and engineers also use chemical reactions to improve fuels, make plastics, or create ingredients for medicines and fertilizers. The whole process is both an art and a science. By the end, 1 barrel of crude oil becomes dozens of useful products. It's like turning a single ingredient into a whole kitchen of delicious recipes. Think oil only runs your car? Think again. In India, LPG cylinders are delivered every day to homes and restaurants. This gas, made from oil, cooks dal, chapati, and biryani for millions. Petrol and diesel make buses, auto rickshaws, and trains move, getting students to school and workers to offices on time. But oil's story doesn't end there. The plastic in your water bottle or lunchbox, the paint on your classroom walls, and even the foam in your slippers all begin at the oil refinery. Fertilizers made from oil help farmers grow more wheat, rice, and vegetables, feeding families across the country. Around the world, oil is hidden in everyday objects: toys, mobile phones, shampoo, and even medicines. It's not just fuel, it's the secret ingredient in modern life. Oil isn't found everywhere. Some countries are lucky to have these huge underground lakes of oil. The Middle East, with countries like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Iran, has some of the world's biggest reserves. Russia, the United States, and Venezuela also have giant oil fields. India produces some oil too. The most famous sites include Bombay High in the Arabian Sea, the oil fields of Assam, and wells in Gujarat and Rajasthan. Still, India must import much of the oil it needs from other countries. Once oil is pumped from the ground, it often travels thousands of kilometers by pipelines, ships, and trains. Tankers cross oceans, carrying black gold from one continent to another. This makes oil a truly global business, connecting people everywhere. From a drop under the desert to a drop in your tank, oil makes an epic journey across the world. What is oil, really? At its heart, oil is made of molecules called hydrocarbons. These are just chains of carbon and hydrogen atoms, locked together in different shapes. Some are tiny, like the gases used in LPG. Others are long and heavy, perfect for making asphalt or plastics. Hydrocarbons store lots of energy. That's why burning petrol or diesel can make engines run fast and hot. When we burn these fuels, the carbon and hydrogen combine with oxygen, releasing energy, water, and carbon dioxide. Scientists study hydrocarbons to find better ways to use them. They also look for cleaner fuels and ways to recycle plastics, reducing pollution and waste. Oil has changed the world. It powers our cities, helps us travel, and grows our food. Without oil, life as we know it would be very different. It brings jobs, growth, and comfort to millions. But oil also creates problems. Burning oil fuels pollutes the air, causing smog and health problems in big cities. Spills can harm rivers, oceans, and wildlife. And the carbon dioxide released by oil use is one of the main causes of climate change, making Earth warmer and weather more extreme. We have to use oil wisely. Scientists, governments, and you can help by saving energy, recycling, and supporting cleaner alternatives. Every step counts. The next time you turn the key in your motorbike or cook a meal on your gas stove, pause for a moment. Remember that the energy you use began as tiny sea creatures millions of years ago. Think of the long, hidden path oil has traveled, from ancient oceans through layers of rock, past drilling rigs and refineries, into your hands. Oil's journey is more than science. It's a story of nature, time, and human invention. It connects us to the deep past and the wide world. By understanding this story, we learn to respect the resources we use and the planet we share. So, let's use oil carefully, value its journey, and dream of new ways to power our future.